Our first series of the day already underway. Spawning in the top right of Oxide. It's our blue Terran player. For Alpha X, this is BabyMarine. And spawning in the bottom left, our red Protoss player. Also from Alpha X, this is Arrogfire. No, chat, no, I think maybe you misunderstood me when I brought that statistic up. We don't want the all Protoss final. That's just not what we're looking for. We've had it before. It was okay. It was a lot of cheeky cheese back and forth and up and down, but I don't know. I think we could do without. Diversity is king. We like that. Good stuff. So interesting pre-game interview where BabyMarine talks about Arrogfire playing a bit predictably. And it seemed like he was hoping to tap into that predictability in this particular series. Now, whether or not BabyMarine felt like he was actually trolling in last week's matchup versus SlyCrowd, that's neither here nor there. But I think BabyMarine's going to have a little bit to prove today if he wants to really secure himself as a competitor in Season 3. He did manage to make it through the round of 12, but admittedly, kind of on the back of some very strong TVTs. And without another Terran player in sight here in the round of 8, I think BabyMarine's going to have, like I said, a little bit of work to do, a little bit to prove here that he too can be an upstart contender in the round of 8. So Twilight Council is going to be the first point du jour for our French Protoss player. Opting not to go into the airplay just yet, but I'm confident that things will end up being okay in that regard. Ground army is still very, very competitive here in this junior championships. Players don't have to get too terribly creative, at least out of the get-go. Once we get closer towards the playoffs and grand finals, some of that innovation ends up coming out a little bit more clearly, but as it sits right now, should be fine. Also, what's going on, everybody? Hope you are all having a fantastic Saturday. Okay, BabyMarine getting a little bit of soft damage here, delaying that probe out at the third base location, but doesn't want to over-sacrifice into the defense. So keeping that Hellion available for follow-up aggression is really important right here, and this is going to find a little bit of scouting information. Going to see the Twilight Council coming down here and pulls a few of those workers. Not going to get too many kills for it, but picking off 2 over the course of the entire engagement, it's pretty nice. But it does not delay the third base that goes down for Arrogfire. So Cloak Banshee going to be on the follow-up as well. BabyMarine should be able to respond appropriately to the potential aggression as well. Blake's going to be finishing up here in about 15 seconds, but there's plenty of Marines on the opposite side of the map. I mean, 11 is more than enough, especially with tank coverage. So being able to watch out for that will be really, really important. Despite that information, though, not that many Stalkers back at home. Only 5 right now. The production is a bit stilted just because of the lack of warp gates as it sits right now. Only 2. That is going to slowly... Oh, I was going to say that should be slowly changing as probe adds on more. But not going to quite put that together. Okay, now we're going to get 4 to go down. So Arrogfire going to start kicking his production into overdrive. But look at the probe count here. 54 to the 39 SCVs of BabyMarine. This is a bit more militarily aggressive for BabyMarine. And Arrogfire getting up to that solid 3 base count Not really being punished for it as of yet, and he tosses on 2 more warp gates in production, so it's going to be 6 gateway incoming, a total of 8. Now this double Banshee will find some possible damage if it's not really dealt with. No shield batteries just yet, but despite that fact, 2 Hellions will upend that in its entirety. This Adept, Scout of the Year, by the way. I think it's just been popping away shades just to keep tabs of where the army is. Finally, now it should be able to go out and see what's going to be happening here. Oh god, the Popcat invasion has begun. Arrogfire should be able to pull that back in a way. But it looks like he's wanting to take the aggression out across the map. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I mean, there's plenty of tanks here. 4 tanks on the high ground, going to cause a lot of chaos. These Banshee are also going to be able to find some damage on the opposite side as well. But despite the lack of upgrades right now, I don't know that Arrogfire is going to have what he needs here. He's going to try and create a little bit of chaos by separating off the Warp Prism, but admittedly, it's not going to be what he needs. The Cloak Banshee is going to find a little bit of damage, but those should both get picked off for the cost of 7 probes. It's a bit of a wash on the economic side. Equalizing the worker count ends up being pretty good. Finally, third base is going to be able to come out and be a part of the battle, but Arrogfire is going to put down a little bit of pressure. Knocking down the missile turrets is going to be useful, but not going to get any follow-up aggression. We'll be able to lift those up and away, though. That ends up being a bit of a fair exchange. All things considered, though, concussive shells on the way. We do have a bit of Psy Storm that's being researched. That's about 2/3 of, that's about 3/4 of the way done, actually. A few more gateway going to add into some complicating factors as well. I'm going to just recall that all the way back home. Wonderful stuff. So far, what I thought might end up being a more electric game has shown up to be a little bit slower, a little bit more calculated, and a lot more tactical. But I think that's all about to change here as Arrogfire is going to start posturing at that third base location. We'll be knocking down the rocks, and that's going to give those Zealots a great opportunity to try and get better engagement. Now he is going to see those rocks get broken, and this is kind of his moment right now. Arrogfire needs to move before BabyMarine has a chance to reposition his army, and he is going to be able to get a little bit of work done here. Some great force fields split that Bioforce in half, but the tanks are going to be well within range to take care of business. And really nothing on the opposite side of this as well. So Arrogfire not able to capitalize on the positioning just yet. I think, yeah, there are going to be some speed Zealots coming down the backside here, and that's going to be a problem for BabyMarine. He doesn't want this bio to get completely overwhelmed, and that's exactly what's happening. All of the tanks have been taken care of here as the Zealots charge into that mineral line. We jump away from the action, but now we're back. A storm goes down onto all of those vulnerable units, and Arrogfire overwhelms his opponent. Game number 1. Arrogfire comes out swinging against his opponent. I kind of mentioned that BabyMarine is going to be a categoric, reserved, laid-back type of player, but here he is coming out with a 1 barracks opener. Now, admittedly, this does leave a lot of options open for BabyMarine. Being that this is just 1 barracks, and he could do a lot of things with it. He could proxy a little bit of Reaper harassment and take advantage of a early bit of damage or vulnerability from Arrogfire. Could also do a proxy 1-1-1 and to get some Hellions up into mineral lines. I think I just recently saw, granted this was a TVT, but Cure versus Clem, where he just took this up into the main base and just was proxy making Marauders. Cure was being a little bit cheeky with that. But he might just choose to build the factory back at home as well. And I think, yeah, that's going to end up being the case. So nothing too overwhelming going to be coming down. In fact, I mean, is this just bad for BabyMarine? I think that might end up being the question. Because now this Reaper really doesn't show up any earlier than it otherwise would have. You've kind of delayed your production in general. The second base hasn't gone down as of yet. We'll find a little bit of good harassment here and theoretically could kite this Zealot forever. All right, 2 probes. This is a good amount of damage. Oh, there is a bunker that's gone down into the natural expand as well, but I don't think it's going to be able to finish in time. That is going to get tapped down. BabyMarine should just cancel that. Oh, there's a follow-up Reaper. Never mind. He's just continuing his Reaper production. Huh. Well, I mean, that's a fair bit to deal with. Because, yeah, now this SCV should be able to pop out. But, oh, yeah, he's going to be very, very careful. Oh, he's going to go gun down the Adept. The second follow-up Adept will be here. So this will eventually get cleaned up. Cheeky little bit of damage. I don't think that's going to be able to get away. Nope. Good cleanup by Arrogfire. So that second command center is going to go down awfully late in the main base. Finally, that barracks is going to get flown back home as well. Oh, an additional Reaper also going to get cleaned up. So this ends up being really not great at all. If we look at that unit's loss tab, not so bad, actually. Does obviously lean very heavily in the favor of Arrogfire, but could have been a lot worse. It does also delay Arrogfire's attempt to get up his own technology. So Blink coming back a little bit behind schedule. This will be a fair bit of damage here that is not going to be well guarded against. Yeah, you can't afford to let this wall go down. Finally now should be able to push off the aggression. I guess there was an additional stalker that was going to come join the fight, but that's just going to effectively go out and scout. So things start to wind forward a little bit more obtusely here in game number 2. I think this definitely is an Arrogfire favored match right now. As long as he can deflect the incoming harassment that'll come through on these Hellions. But admittedly, I don't see what this is actually going to accomplish. I mean, this wall should be relatively held. Unless he gets wickedly out of position. But I don't think that's going to be happening. Especially not with Blink finishing up here in about the next 25 seconds or so. Oh, the mine drop, though. Okay, that was missed on my part. Medevac is going to be able to sneak on in there. I neglected the fact that was going to be coming. Oh, okay, this is going to be much better damage here. Kind of locking Arrogfire into a choke here. Oh, that's a terrible amount of damage. 11 probes are going to go down. At least we got the follow-up harassment here from BabyMarine, and this is making things a little bit more shaky for our Blue Protoss player. More of those probes are going to get roasted up here. 14 are going to go down. I think a few more might get caught in the fray as well. 16 before it's all said and done. There was a warp prism out on the map, and I think that's going to be just utilized for the high ground vision, despite... actually, there's already an observer there. So I think the observer will take care of that just fine. But what's back here at home? 1 tank and 8 Marines. Ugh. And BabyMarine is supply blocked. Oh, Arrogfire. I think is just absolutely going to shut this down here. Picking off the tech lab, that means that will be the last tank that comes out anytime soon. Picking off the final tank will be the final straw here. Great blink and pickup micro from Arrogfire. Should be able to mitigate a lot of the damage. There's going to be an additional warp in as well, but that's just an overwhelming amount of stalkers. That's way too much, even for some quick pickups, though. I got to say, BabyMarine's making the most of this situation, but I don't think he's going to be able to juggle that forever. 12 workers have already gone down. There goes the medevac. The final tank will fall, and all of these workers will be sacrificed for ire. Arrogfire, quick 2-0 win over his opponent, BabyMarine, here in the first series of Group A. Well played. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Make sure to click the subscribe button so you can catch more of my videos as they are released. If you want more Rushi content, feel free to find me on Twitch and Twitter. Thanks again, and see you in the next video.